How to create an effective brand positioning? How can you differentiate from the competition? And above all, how can you be perceived differently from your target audience? I'm so excited to share the 6 paths framework to create your brand positioning. I have learned these concepts from a fantastic book that you absolutely have to read if you want to win in the business game without competing with anyone else. Ocean Blue Strategy. Bear with me till the end of this video because thanks to the information I'm going to share with you, you will be able to find different and counterintuitive ways to position your company or your personal brand in your prospects and clients' minds. My name is Max Cecco and I help you become a high-paid infopreneur. It means selling your expertise or someone else's knowledge to help people solve their problems. On YouTube, I share my 12-year knowledge and experience helping professionals and small business owners create their personal brand online and sell information products and services. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I suggest you subscribe right now and turn the notification on. If you tap on the like button, you will contribute to spreading my message to people like you. So, thank you. First of all, this is not the first time I have talked about brand positioning on my YouTube channel. At the same time, before exposing this revolutionary 6 paths framework, I want to remind you of the importance of brand positioning. We can define brand positioning as marketing messages able to educate your target audience on why you are different from others in your industry and the promises you decide to deliver. These are 3 reasons why brand positioning is so important. Reason number 1. Thanks to brand positioning, you don't have to compete for the prices of your products and services. Apple, for instance, continues to raise smartphone prices even without any significant improvement. Reason number 2. Clients don't want to risk anything when they buy something. They are more confident in buying from a brand they trust, even if the price is higher. Reason number 3. Many companies still don't know how to create the correct brand positioning. In 2022, you still have a great competitive advantage. With that said, let me share with you the 6 paths framework that lets you differentiate from the competition. Most entrepreneurs tend to view their industry within established market boundaries. They define the space in a similar way to competitors and focus on being the best within it. However, instead of looking within these boundaries, entrepreneurs need to look across boundaries using the 6 paths framework. Path number 1. Look across alternative industries. You absolutely have to know that every company in the world is not competing only with similar companies in the same category, aka direct competitors, but even with companies that are offering alternative products or services too, aka indirect competitors. For example, people go to a restaurant for the same objective that they go to the movies, to enjoy a night out. These are not substitutes, but alternatives to choose from. So, what are the alternative industries to your industry? Why do customers trade across them? To position or reposition your company in the market to be seen and perceived differently from the competition, start thinking about the alternative industries, so take their strengths, understand why people decide to buy their products or services, and include that experience in what you are offering. Path number 2. Look across strategic groups within industries. Strategic groups are groups of companies that operate in the same field or category with a similar strategy. For example, Mercedes, BMW, and Jaguar are fighting for conquering market shares in luxury cars. On the flip side, other car economic manufacturers are competing with companies that are selling cars to the same group of people. So, I have a couple of questions for you. What are the strategic groups in your industry? Rank each one in rough hierarchical order based on price and performance. Why do customers trade up for a higher group and why they do trade down for a lower one? By identifying these variables, you can position your products or services in a new, compelling way in order to attract different buyers. Path number 3. Look across the chain of buyers. Most industries have a common definition of who the target buyer is, but in reality, there is often a chain of buyers who are involved: purchaser, end user, influencer, etc. Who buys and pays for a defined service can be completely different from the end user, and in some cases, who influences the buying process has an important way in reaching the end user. For example, who is responsible for buying stuff for a company can be more interested in the costs of the product. Instead, who uses the product is more interested in how to use the product itself. Let me be more clear, because it is not so easy to understand. Think about the pharmaceutical field. They are entirely focused on persuading the doctors because they have the power to influence the buyer's decisions. Think about the clothing department, whose client is the end user. So, the questions are: who is in the chain of buyers for your industry? Which buyer group does the industry typically focus on? Could you unlock new value by shifting the buyer group of your industry? Path number 4. Look across complementary product and service offering. Products and services are rarely used in isolation. In most cases, other products and services affect their value. To let you understand this concept, you have to know that every product that solves a specific problem creates a new one that needs to be fixed. Let me give you an example. If you buy an online course on how to create a website with WordPress and you solve this problem, you immediately have another problem to fix: how to bring targeted traffic to your website. Indeed, if no one finds your amazing and outstanding website, you will not selling anything. You need to provide a solution for this problem, and this is a way to differentiate your product or service from the competition. So, you need to determine the context in which customers use your product or service. What happens before, during, and after? Can you identify any pain points? How can you eliminate these pain points through a complementary product or service offering? Path number 5. Look across functional or emotional appeal to buyers. Some industries compete primarily on functionality, while others compete largely on emotions. When a company is willing to change the functional or emotional orientation of its field of competency, it can position itself differently in the market. 2 examples of great companies that use this path framework are: number 1, Swatch, who transformed a cheap watch primarily guided on functionality to a fashion product focused on emotivity. And number 2, The Body Shop, who transformed the cosmetic field normally focused on emotions to 100% functionality and practice products. If your industry competes on emotional appeal, what elements can you strip out to make your offer more functional? If it competes on functionality, what elements can you add to make your offer more emotional? Path number 6. Look across time. All industries are subject to external trends that affect their businesses over time. Think of the rapid rise of cloud computing or the global movement toward environmental protection. What are the trends that have a high probability of impacting your industry? How can you leverage those trends to create unprecedented customer utility? For example, think about the new and disruptive technology of NFT, non-fungible tokens. You can innovate and position your company differently by only linking this new technology to some of your products or services. In this way, you can completely change your potential customers' perceptions about your company and your brand positioning. The first NFT company to do this, and this. By using these paths to think across conventional boundaries, you can make convention-altering strategic moves that reconstruct established market boundaries and even create a new powerful brand positioning strategy. With that said, if you want to know more about brand positioning, I highly urge you to watch this video: 3-step strategy to create an effective brand positioning. This video is so powerful because I help you identify your new big idea to be perceived differently from your competitors. So, watch this video now.